everybody, it's Chutney, and this is probably take number 5 million. I have been shooting this video for the last couple hours because I want to make sure that it's just perfect for you all, and that the first episode of my video series goes off without a hitch. So the first thing I want to do is say thank you to you all for tuning in to my video series, Wounded But Not Dead. This is the very first episode, and I know several of you are accustomed to seeing me alongside Corey for our video series dedicated to couples, young, black, educated, and in love. But for this series, I'm going to be coming to you solo, all by myself. The training wheels are off, and it's probably one of the reasons why it's been more difficult for me to tape this, because I'm so used to having a wingman, my right-hand man over here with me. So kind of bear with me as I set off on this journey by myself. So what I want to do is to first start out by telling you a little bit about who I am and some of the things that are very important to me and that I'm passionate about, and then move into the vision that I had for the series and why it was created. So the first thing that I'm very passionate about, very important to me, of course, is my fiance Corey. Several of you probably know exactly who he is and have seen his work with his book and all the videos that he's done and that we do together. But I love him to death, and although our relationship is not perfect, we are very happy in it. We're very committed to each other, very committed to as I said, to the relationship, and hope that it can be a blessing to others and that it can be a benefit to others. So that's the first thing. The second thing, some of you, all of you, can clearly see that I'm natural, and I'm sure some of you know how important my natural journey has been. You've seen some of the pictures in my opening from when I did my big chop and cut it all off. But I love talking about being natural. I love talking about the products and experimenting with new products and experimenting with my hair. So that's one of the things that I really get fired up about. The third thing is education. I attended 2 historically black institutions, the first of which is Fort Valley State University, go Wildcats, where I received my bachelor's in business. I got my master's in business from Tennessee State University in Nashville, home of the Tigers, and I just recently completed all of the requirements for my PhD in higher education administration from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. So clearly education is something that's very important to me, very passionate about, and very proud of my accomplishments, in that area. So any questions that you may have about that, please feel free to ask me. The last thing that I'm very passionate about, which is why I've done so many takes of this video, is you all of our viewers, all of the young ladies out there, and even the men that tune in to our videos, Corey's and my videos, and who will hopefully tune into this video. I really felt like in the creation of this video series that I would be able to connect to several of you on a different level, and really felt like there may be some things that I could share with you based on my experiences that might be helpful to you. So all the education aside, I really just want to talk to you as a woman who has been where you are and has come out on the other side. And so that kind of gets me, actually it does get me perfect segue to the title of the series and the vision for the series. So Wounded But Not Dead came about because in my situation, I understood what it felt like to be hurt. I came out of a situation where I was, I guess you could say, wounded, but I didn't let that kill me. If you've heard the famous saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, I felt exactly like that. And I believe that. I believe that just because you've been hurt, just because you've been hit, figuratively speaking, does not mean that you can't rebound from that. If you think of someone who's been in an accident and they may have a physical scar or disfigured or have a limp, that doesn't mean that they're not able to reclaim their life and take a hold of the rest of the life that they have left and really take advantage of it, really seize it for what it is. And that's what I want you all to take away from this entire series. That's really the purpose of the series and the impetus or the catalyst behind the title. So remember that even if you're wounded, even if you're hurt, you're not dead. You've still got plenty of life left, and it's up to you to reclaim that, to take that power back. So another reason for the series was because I wanted a way to connect with all the women out there who, as I mentioned before, have been hurt or who have been wounded, because I understand what it feels like to be in that situation. I understand what it feels like to be the number one but not the only one. And there's a huge difference between that, between those two. I understand what it feels like to be in the circle. For those of you who have read Corey's book, you know that the circle is basically a situation in an unhealthy relationship where the woman is trying to get out of that relationship, where she's made attempts to leave that situation, and most times the man, through manipulation, sucks her back in, and it just becomes this cycle, this vicious cycle, where she tries to leave and he ups the ante to get her to come back, and she tries to leave again, and he manipulates her to get her to come back, and it's just this ugly cat and mouse game that is no fun at all. I also know what it feels like to lose a sense of who you are, to lose your identity in a relationship that you know is going nowhere. But I want you to also understand that in my experiences, I feel like, or I've come to believe that in unhealthy relationships, the person that we become is not really the person that we are. It's the person that we've had to become to adapt to the situation, to navigate the situation, to survive that situation, to maintain or keep the peace in that situation. But it does not mean that that's who you are. So if there are instances where you may feel suicidal, or you may feel like you're crazy because you're having paranoid thoughts, or because you want to go through his phone or go through his email, if you know that's not you, if you know that's never been you, then why do you believe that that is really who you are now? That means that there's a chance for you to reclaim that person who you once were. That means there's a chance for you to get that identity back. And it's a long, hard journey at times, but it's one that's very, very well worth it if you want to take advantage of all the blessings that God has for you. So the main takeaway point that I want for you to have today is that you can be the person that you ultimately want to be. You can have the life that you want to have, and you don't have to be held captive by an unhealthy relationship or the after effects of it. I used to be you, and look at me now. I've come out of that. I'm so much more confident than I used to be. Part of that, I feel, is why I chose to go natural. A lot of my self-confidence came through my going natural, and of course came through my relationship with Corey, but that journey was my journey. It was one that I had to do on my own. Aside from my relationship, aside from any relationship that you may be in, you are the only person who can fight that fight. You're the only person who can reclaim your identity and who can get back to being who you were. And it actually is probably what you should do, because in order to be whole, in order to make yourself as complete as you can be, or as effective as you can be in a new relationship, you're going to need to do that. And so I want you to understand that all of that is within you. And even though you may be in a pretty dark place, there's always light on the other side. There's light at the end of that tunnel. So hopefully this series will give you some tips, give you some pointers, some techniques on how you can get out of those situations, how you can come back from those situations and find the happiness that you truly, truly deserve. So that, I think, is going to be a wrap for today. Again, if you have any questions, any certain topics that you want me to talk about, or points that you want me to hit on, or just things that you want to vent about, please feel free. My information will be at the end of the video, and I look forward to seeing you again next Thursday, or not next Thursday, the Thursday after that, because Corey will be on next Thursday. So until next time, see you later.